I took the belt, I pulled. I was a nervous wreck thinking, what do I do? What do I do? I wanted to make it look like she got strangled there.
I drove her one day. I tied this thing around the neck of me, looked like some shoulder out there.
Where's it at?
The next shoulder.
Please. She's still out there.
Oh, hey, right there. Can you walk up there and shine your light over there? Lieutenant, if I could get some light, please. Ashley, can you hear me?
Michelle and Michael Reeves welcomed their daughter Ashley into the world on January 1st, 1989. Ashley was a high school junior in Millstadt, Illinois, and she was 17 years old. With her parents and younger sister Casey, Ashley resided in Millstadt, a village situated 8 miles distant from Belleville, Illinois. The people in her family liked her boyfriend, Jeremy. He had been Ashley's companion for nearly 2 years, and her parents thought he was an honest, decent young man who cared deeply about her. Ashley was a talented student whose humor and intellect were much admired by her friends. One thing that made her very happy was that she was about to graduate, but things were going to change quickly in her life, and she had no idea what was going to happen. On Thursday, April 27, 2006, Ashley told her parents that she had a job interview in Fairview Heights, about 20 minutes from Millstadt. She said she'd be home before 10 p.m. Ashley borrowed her boyfriend Jeremy's car to get to Fairview Heights. She then left for her interview around 3:30 p.m. However, Ashley was nowhere to be found as the evening wore on.
Michelle had a strong maternal instinct and couldn't get rid of the sense that something wasn't right. She requested assistance by calling the St. Clair County Sheriff's Office. Initially, the officers believed that Ashley was just a typical teenage girl enjoying herself with her friends and had lost track of time. However, they quickly realized that something was wrong with this case. Teens usually don't reply to calls or messages from family, but they always return friends' calls and messages. However, in Ashley's case, not even her friends were able to get in touch with her.
Unfortunately, we get a few calls that are like that, and the vast majority of them are either maybe they just stayed out too long with a friend or something like that. But there was something with her voice that really sounded very stressful. And I said, Captain, this one sounds a little bit different. I think we probably need to run with this one right away.
Lieutenant Mike Humdelt of St. Clair County Sheriff's Office was concerned about the ongoing silence and sensed that something was off. This was a full-fledged missing person investigation rather than a teenage time limit violation. The police launched a search in the area but had no luck. It had already been 8 hours since Ashley went missing, and everyone knew that the first 48 hours were the most important. The pressure to find her was building with each passing minute, and finally, the search efforts uncovered a lead. Just 15 minutes from Ashley's house in Landerman Park, Belleville, police found Jeremy's car abandoned. They discovered Ashley's bag containing the alternate outfit she had brought for the basketball match inside the vehicle. The abandoned car was a vital lead, but it was also a clue that Ashley has suffered a dark fate. So the detectives focused on Ashley because on that fateful day, she had borrowed her boyfriend Jeremy's car. However, the officers could see that Jeremy had a true affection for Ashley. He said he had no information and was out of town that night Ashley vanished.
I was at my uncle's band out at Stratford Bar and Grill, and she said if I get a chance, call her.
Okay.
Other than that, I wish I would have called her now.
All he had done was lend Ashley his car to get to her basketball game at Fairview Heights and the job interview. However, the investigators were baffled by something. Ashley had gone to a park much farther away from her home than the one near Millstadt to play basketball. This made her wonder if she was actually meeting someone there. The more important information Ashley's friends supplied, the more solid this theory became. They disclosed Ashley's romantic involvement with an older man and the fact that they frequently played basketball together. Ashley had been planning to meet this man the day before she vanished. Michelle, Ashley's mother, was extremely disturbed by this information and she decided to take matters into her own hands. Ashley's phone was registered in her mother's name because she was only 17 years old. Michelle took advantage of that and got in touch with the phone company to get Ashley's phone records. This would prove to be a crucial turning point in the hunt for Ashley. Michelle discovered that her daughter had made and received multiple calls from the same number in the days before her disappearance. Michelle returned the call out of curiosity to find out who it was, and she spoke with a man who was 26 years old. He was Ashley's former teacher, Shelton Sampson, as well as the same man who she had gone to meet on that fateful day. Sampson, who was born in 1980, held an intriguing mix of occupations. In addition to coaching the gym and teaching drivers training at a nearby school, he was a professional wrestler on the side. He used to wrestle under the moniker The Teacher. While some of Sampson's female classmates thought he was cute at school, others thought that he was a little odd and cocky. When Ashley was in the 7th grade in 2001, Sampson had been her teacher. Just 2 months before she vanished in February 2006, they had gotten back in touch. They would frequently get together in Belleville, where Sampson shared a home with his mother and grandmother near Laderman Park, the location of Jeremy's abandoned car discovery. Michelle, Ashley's mother, was able to speak with Sampson when she called him following her review of the phone records. Although Sampson claimed not to have seen Ashley, he was warm, friendly, and concerned. Subsequently, he abruptly ended the call, seemingly indifferent to the girl's disappearance. Michelle was unable to question him about his communication with her teenage daughter. It appeared that he was not giving Ashley's disappearance much thought. Friday, April 28, 2006, Ashley had been missing for a whole night. Michelle, her mother, couldn't stop thinking about Ashley, wondering if she was hurt, cold, or in pain. Agents went to Sampson's place of employment, the high school, and took him in for interrogation. Sampson seemed cool and collected at first. He was courteous and even helpful when the investigation was underway. However, the circumstances quickly began to shift. He told lies when the police questioned him, saying he hadn't seen Ashley in days. When the detectives first questioned Sampson about his relationship with Ashley, he initially said that they were just friends who got together occasionally to play hoops. Sergeant Daniel Stockett of the St. Clair County Sheriff's Office, however, felt that Sampson was trying to manipulate him. He thought Sampson would cooperate and carry on the conversation, hoping that everything would simply go away. However, the truth gradually began to emerge from his mouth as investigators dug deeper into the case and exposed his lies.
Give her like a hug goodbye. How would you do that? That's not sexual, is it? Give someone a hug goodbye.
He changed the course of his story, admitting that their friendship had evolved into something more. He persisted, saying, "I will say this, we never kissed." However, he changed the story once more in response to statements made by Ashley's friends indicating that their relationship was romantic. It was worse this time.
I will say this, we never kissed. We never kissed. Yes, we did have sex in the back of the vehicle there, and...
Sampson attempted to make himself seem like a victim by describing Ashley as obsessed with him. He described her as a crush-obsessed teenage girl who would call him at all hours of the day and night. Sampson maintained that he had been attempting to stay away from Ashley for days in the hopes that she would eventually give up on him. Steve Johnson, the chief of police in Swansea, stated that Sampson repeatedly altered his account. Detectives started to grow suspicious. Initially, he maintained that they were just friends who played basketball. Later, he acknowledged that he had romantic feelings for her and stated that he was attempting to break up with her. The investigators could not reconcile these different scenarios.
He had changed the story so much that a person who didn't have anything to hide, why would you change it that much?
However, detectives had a feeling that the truth was close at hand.
Do you want to complain about what's been going on, or do you want to continue to just dig a deeper and deeper hole?
Finally, after hours of questioning, Sampson admitted that he had an intimate relationship with his ex-student Ashley and and was even with her on April 27th, the day she disappeared. Sampson's version of events states that he got into a heated argument with Ashley while they were in his car. He decided to end the relationship at that point. However, Ashley got mad and began yelling at him when he told her this. He thus brought the car to a stop, removed her seatbelt, and yelled at her to exit the car. Sampson had forcibly taken Ashley out of the car and dumped her on the side of the road when she would not get out.
She was screaming, kicking, everything. Put it down, shut the door, ran the car. I took off. I left her. I left her there, is what I did. I left her out there by Radio Range Road. I left her right out there.
Sampson maintained, with unwavering certainty, that Ashley was very much alive the last time he laid eyes on her. He insisted that he could never have caused her harm, citing his very weak stomach as a reason, while professing his care for her and his deep concern for her safety. Yet, the detectives harbored doubts about these big claims. Had Sampson genuinely had feelings for Ashley, one must wonder why he left her stranded in the darkness, all alone on that hopeless road. Moreover, the phone records revealed a chilling truth. Sampson did not attempt to reach out to Ashley after abandoning her on the roadside, leaving her fate uncertain. Instead, he found himself at Wild Country Dance Club, a local country bar where he lost himself in the rhythm of the night, dancing under the dim lights. In response to a question about why he'd left Ashley, Sampson said he was afraid of what he might see and didn't want to drive by the area. By that point, Sampson's account of that fateful night had shifted so many times that the detectives were well aware of the unreliability of his statements. They pressed him for the truth, the weight of nearly 30 hours of Ashley's disappearance hanging heavily in the air, intensifying the urgency to uncover her whereabouts. Yet, they appeared to be spiraling further away from any breakthrough. In a seemingly ordinary moment during a bathroom break, Sampson crossed paths with the department's lead detective, Stephen Johnson, setting the stage for an unexpected encounter. Johnson had known Sampson since the young teen years, when Sampson had taken part in their Law Enforcement Explorer Post program. With determination, John stepped into the interview intent on uncovering the truth hidden within Sampson's attitude. He urged Sampson to recount the error he had committed, and after a tense 20 minutes, the dam finally broke when Johnson spoke a particular name.
If I left from here and I went and talked to Grandma right now, and I laid down this whole story that you're saying, what's Grandma gonna say?
I just want to go home. I just want to explain to Mom and Grandma exactly what happened.
Grandma's not here.
I know.
Your mom's not here.
No,
But you know what? In a way they are. Because everything they taught you, all the talks Grandma had with you, are within you. All of them are. And unfortunately right now, Sam, you ain't telling us the truth. And you need to. You have to. For Mom. For Grandma.
Sampson started to cry when his grandmother's potential disappointment was mentioned, indicating that he was beginning to feel bad about what he had done. After being questioned for 12 hours, Sampson made a startling confession in which he described in a chilly and unnerving way what he had done to Ashley and the location where he had abandoned her to die. Sampson acknowledged in his taped confession that he did not simply take Ashley out of his car and abandon her on the side of the road. He, the part-time wrestler, strangled Ashley and dragged her from the car. Then, just as Ashley's body went limp, he heard an unsettling pop. Sampson hurried her into the woods out of fear that he had broken her neck. He strangled her again, first with his bare hands and then with his belt, realizing she was still breathing. He said that he had turned his head away to avoid seeing it. He was unable to say how long he held on to the belt. He claimed that as soon as he heard Ashley gurgling, he released the belt. He admitted that Ashley looked very sick and had foam coming out of her mouth. Her tongue was sticking out. Then Sampson had strangled Ashley so hard the belt broke, using his foot as leverage. After that, he used his bare hands to choke Ashley for the third and final time, abandoning her to die on the chilly forest floor. Sampson confessed, and after that he agreed to lead the detectives to Ashley's body, which was in Citizens Park, a 45-acre park in Belleville, just 12 minutes from Ashley's Millstadt home. It was the sort of stroll that unnerved every policeman. They were being led by someone they thought was a murderer when they suddenly found themselves deep in the woods. But it had rained a lot all night, and by the time they got to the park, Sampson could not remember exactly where he'd left Ashley. For about 30 minutes, detectives searched the woods with flashlights. They started to wonder if Sampson had been telling the truth or if he was just making things up to pass the time. The entire bleak journey through the dense, untamed vegetation was captured on camera. When they eventually arrived at a clearing, Ashley Reeves, 17, was lying there, motionless. She was covered in thousands of insect bites, lying on her back with her hands up to her chest and her tongue sticking out. Just as the detectives were dealing with the chaos of discovering her too late, Ashley's hands wiggled and her chest began to rise. In a turn of events that went against belief, Ashley was still alive. She had somehow struggled a full day in the woods by herself after someone attempted to strangle her, not just once, not twice, but 3 times. She was struggling alone for more than 30 hours, clinging desperately to being alive. However, her circumstances were extremely dire, and the officers needed to act swiftly. Emergency responders hurried to rescue Ashley, their faces a mix of urgency and disbelief. Her condition was so dire that paramedics were left devastated, convinced she might not survive her time in the woods. Photos from the police station revealed that Sampson had hardly any injuries on his body, but with his confession, it was evident why. Ashley was never really in a position to defend herself. She was almost entirely paralyzed. She was left with a shattered neck, multiple concussions, and a critical bout of hypothermia. Ashley was rushed to the local hospital and put into an induced coma, while doctors desperately tried to find a way to save her. Sampson Shelton was taken into custody and faced charges for first-degree attempted murder. As he was led away, Sampson made a peculiar request for a cell equipped with a private bathroom, claiming it was due to urinary stress disorder. Yet, his plea was turned down. Sampson revealed himself as a self-absorbed individual, completely devoid of empathy and remorse for what he had done. Even with his elaborate confession and leading detectives straight to Ashley, he maintained his not guilty plea and offered no apology to her. In a turn of events that left many reeling, Sampson somehow managed to lower his bond, paid it in full, and got released from the county jail on bail. Sampson was granted permission to remain at his residence until his trial, much to his surprise. During his bond hearing, Ashley's mother, Michelle, was filled with such intense disappointment and fury that she nearly shattered her tooth from the pressure of her clenched jaw. Just moments before his court appearance, Sampson's mother, Susan, made a shocking call to the police after he seemingly attempted to harm himself by combining prescription pills with alcohol. When the police and emergency teams arrived at Sampson's place, they discovered him in a dire condition, nearly unconscious, with the chilling phrase, "Do not resuscitate," scrawled across his chest. When EMTs approached Sampson to offer assistance following his attempt to end his life, he unexpectedly turned hostile and began striking them. They brought him to the local hospital, where he allegedly hurled racial slurs at a nurse attempting to assist him and even kicked her in the face. He even had the audacity to spit on a deputy. The judge in Ashley's case expressed worry over Sampson's mental condition, while the prosecutor suspected that his suicide attempt could be tactic to elicit sympathy from potential jurors. A month later, a psychiatrist evaluated Sampson's mental health and concluded that he was mentally fit to stand trial. However, Ashley's family made the unsettling decision to spare her from reliving the traumatic details of the horrific attack she had faced, leading them to agree to a plea deal. Following the acceptance of the plea deal in June 2007, the court handed down a 20-year prison sentence to Sampson. As stated by the Illinois Department of Corrections, he is set for parole on April 22, 2024, with an anticipated release on April 22, 2027. He remains incarcerated at Hill Correctional Center in Galesburg, Illinois.
The first time you saw Ashley again, what was that like?
Terrifying. I just stood there. I just stared at her. She was in this neck brace and the room just seemed so empty, and she just lay there and didn't move and couldn't look at me, and I felt like she couldn't hear me, she couldn't talk to me, and it was terrifying.
Mike and Michelle Reeves paused their careers to focus on caring for their daughter, Ashley. Mike stood by Ashley's side during her treatment, offering unwavering support, while Michelle took charge of the media and interviews. Throughout the 3 months Ashley spent in the hospital unable to perform basic actions such as walking, talking, or swallowing, her family devised an unconventional method to communicate. They were taken aback when the doctors revealed she was recovering. It was unimaginable that their daughter, who had once excelled as an athlete, now faced the daunting challenge of relearning how to walk. After her recovery, Ashley discovered herself alone and confronting an unexpected new beginning. She was resolute in her decision to leave behind the unsettling ordeal. When Sampson received his sentence in 2007, she revealed her feelings, stating, "I'm glad it's over with. I just want to move on with my life and not have to think about it anymore." Ashley endured unimaginable suffering, yet she persisted against all odds. Her strength and bravery leave you reeling in disbelief. Yet, the most astonishing aspect is that she managed to reclaim a fulfilling life, refusing to be shaped by her past. Ashley had unexpectedly discovered love once more, and as of 2023, at the age of 34, she is navigating a seemingly ordinary life with her husband and 2 children in Illinois. She is a caregiver, yet her life and family seem to take center stage in a way that is both unexpected and unsettling. What steps do you think schools and communities should take to keep teenagers safe from potential predators like Sampson? What are your thoughts on how the local authorities handled the investigation and prosecution of Sampson Shelton? Please let us know your thoughts. Also, if you have any case suggestions, please share them in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, be safe.